Welcome to Random. My name is Abalo Irene Otto. Last time you people asked me to speak to the amazing how do I even say this? Yes, she's here.
Warning her. Yes. The very ordinary human.
Today I am here with Jacqueline Asiimwe. She is so many things that I will not say. I wish she could introduce herself and tell us so many things that she does, not just for herself but for other people too. By the way, the other time you were with Carlton Scovia Nakamya, I felt like jumping into that frame because you guys really enjoy conversations. But kindly introduce yourself to us.
My name is Jacqueline, as you've heard, Asiimwe. Where does one begin? I love reading books, and I do. For that part of my life, I thank my parents because they introduced us to stories. My father being an Anglican priest, of course, we had Bible reading before prayer time, before bed, but also he and mom would buy us books and read to us. So books were always a thing. For a time, we didn't have a TV because my parents were insistent that we should either be playing or reading. And I think just those intentional practices helped us to grow up reading. So even if I'm not reading a book, I just want to have one too. I think it has become my security blanket. Yeah. I feel literally, Irene, I feel naked when I don't have a book. So I have shelves with books have to be around. In fact, maybe this might be creepy to say right now. Either my coffin should be in the shape of a book, or please bury me with books. Yes, even in my death, I shall be with words and pages. But which brings me, to your very noble profession, journalism. I am a lawyer by profession. But at the same time, in my HSC, when I made the decision to put down law as my first choice, I was struggling between law and journalism because I love to tell stories. Again, I think arising from books.
Like those two professions always cross each other.
I don't know why.
Somehow.
Yes, but I was torn between, should I be a journalist or should I be a lawyer? I stuck with law partly because it was my first love. It was, when I was a young child of P7, not even understanding fully what lawyers do, I wanted to become a lawyer. But of course, as you grow in high school, I discovered that I liked writing. I discovered I was very good with English and literature in English, right? And I loved to be curious and playful with the way I wrote. And so I thought, But anyhow, I think fast forward to today, I think both law and journalism, what I've learned about them is they are both very, very versatile careers.
You can stretch as much as
Absolutely.
you want.
Really.
It's not like restricting you to this area.
Absolutely.
And that brings me to the fact that people love you on social media for the things that they see you do. And they're like, social media is for the young, campusers, vibrant people, but here we are.
So are you saying I'm not young? I'm not a campusser, but are you saying...
I didn't mean to offend you, but I'm just saying...
No. Yeah.
There's a way people think that social media should be for those who are young, perhaps those who want to be influencers, those who want to do things a certain way. Yeah. But here we are, having Jackie, coach. I like to refer to you as Coach Jackie because of our background, women in news, and you as the coach. Yes. So when you look at how people are using social media now, considering your background as a lawyer, and also you didn't tell us about CivLegacy, by the way.
Yes. So I was still introducing many things, but yeah.
So if you look at social media, that's why we're having this conversation. How has it shaped the you who loves books, the you who loves people, the you who loves to be out there? How has it shaped your thinking around it, apart from what people say about it, of course?
Yeah. So, Irene, I started my social media journey when Facebook was the thing.
What do you mean that thing?
Is it still the thing? Oh, now it has become like a thing. No. Now people say that they can tell people's age by if you have a Facebook account. I think it's no. I think it's like if you have a Yahoo account, people just know what era. You'll be Hotmail. If you're still at Jackie at Hotmail, people are just like, oh Lord. Anyhow, so that's what I hear said of it these days. That guys, people migrated from Facebook long ago. So yeah, Facebook was the thing when I was beginning my journey on social media. At that time, it was very novel because it was the way to connect with people. That's when you could, without having to buy a calling card and all these expenses of connecting with people out far away from you abroad, you could just find each other on this, social network. And really it was for that a place to find my old people that I used, whether it was from school or a former job and just say hi and share pictures maybe of family or whatever. So there's that. But please understand also that with tech, I'm a very late adapter. There are the early adapters, then there's the middle, then there's some of us who let's first watch the thing and then maybe we will do the thing, right?
So which year did you join?
And, so I don't even remember. I need to go and check my Facebook account. But no, I say this to say that I did. So I opened a Facebook account, but I didn't post on it for a while because you sort of feel the pressure. Be on social media. And then you're like, so then what am I supposed to do on these streets? You look at the streets and say, let me go back to my house. So but once I started to embrace it, and again, guys, I am a late adapter. I first have to see, so how does this work? What do people do here? And then the way I've used my social media is I have to have an agenda. I have to understand the thing I want to communicate. Otherwise, I don't use social media. So currently I am on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and on X. So I had even divided. Facebook was my space to be funny, the hilarious, silly, foolish, playful, joyful Jackie. Twitter then was the political animal, Jackie. The one who was a Black Monday activist, a women's rights activist, an electoral reforms activist, good governance. So X at that time said it was for the more serious people. I said at that time, yes. And so that's why I thought that I could express that side of myself, this citizen who wants to be fully engaged in the affairs, not just of Uganda, but of the world, and to actively play a part.
Okay.
Then, later, through Paula, a very good friend of Win, she's the one who, when she was in Kampala for one of the Win sessions, told me, Jackie, you need to be on LinkedIn. And I think she even helped me to start a LinkedIn page. But I didn't, I'm like, I think for almost 2 years, yes. Like, what do they do? Like, I don't even have like anything to say, because, like I said, for me, it's always about what do I want to be known for? What do I want the message of my life to be? Because people do. It's a snapshot of your life, but people string it together and create a narrative about who you are. And so I've always tried to be very cautious but serious about this is a platform. Just like when I'm going to give a speech, just like when I'm leading a CivSource, any of these are platforms. And as a leader, how do I want to use this platform? What do I want to use it for? What do I want to say? So for me, that's how I come to social media. So I am very, very serious.
So it's like you're thinking through even what you're going to talk about.
Absolutely,
you perhaps rewrite it,
yes,
you edit
absolutely,
it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And so LinkedIn, I took a while. When I started Walk Talk Connect 2 years ago, is when in fact it was like maybe halfway through it that I started to post about my walks on LinkedIn.
We will get to Walk Talk because
Connect,
it is like
but
one
I'm
of
just saying that that then became the thing that, okay, so for LinkedIn, because it's one that connects professionals, and through Walk Talk Connect, I am connecting with an array of professionals. That is the story I will tell. That is the side of me I will show. And then Instagram, it's fun, it's quick pictures. So each of these I have joined slowly, I have joined late, but I've also, for me, I have thought through what do I want to use this platform for.
Okay. So if you look back now, I don't know how many years you've been on social media.
Maybe Facebook since around 2009. 8, 9, before many of you were born, really.
2008 and 9, I was at school.
But like in like P1 anyhow, but yeah,
Yes.
so around there, maybe coming on to
Let's say
15 years or so,
15
16
plus years.
yeah.
Okay, that is quite some time. A child born at that time should now be going to secondary.
Yes.
But
Almost sitting there as for exams.
if you look at the journey that you have walked with social media, and now we want to get to this, I don't want to call it a child, your 2-year-old innovative approach to social media, telling us stories of other people through walking.
Yeah.
How did it even begin? Did you just wake up and you're like, I want to walk with people but also show the world what I am doing? How did that start?
Yeah. How did that start? So walking was a thing we did when I was growing up. Again, Irene, I grew up, when people quarrel about traffic jam now, they do not know a Kampala where there were so few cars. You almost even literally knew which families had cars, and most of them were either rich or politicians. The rest of us were walking all over, right? And Kampala, of course, was not as populated now, so walked to school, walked with my mother every Saturday to the market. We walked to All Saints Church. We walked, like, anywhere you needed to get. If you didn't have a car, you walked. There were no taxis, there were no borders. So Kampala is a vastly different city from when I was growing up. And
are you talking about the early 90s?
Yes, around there.
Yes.
No, actually late 80s.
Okay.
Late 80s, because when I was in primary school, this was 1981, 82, 83, right? That was P5, 6, 7. So that is the Kampala I'm talking about. So this is Kampala, 30 years later? Of course, it's going to be a different city. And so walking, in a sense, came naturally for me. And when I was struggling to get fit again in a season of my life, I leaned back into walking. And then I started, first of all, I had walked with people. So, for example, I would check on Miriam Matembe. She walks a lot around Ruzira. I say, I'll join you for a walk. When I did coaching after WIN and we started the Grow program at CivSource, 2 of my coaching coachees, I did all my sessions as walking sessions with them.
Amazing.
My mentor, one of my mentors, is Ugandan but lives abroad. So whenever she's in Uganda, we book a walk date. So I'd been doing it sporadically.
Okay.
Then I started seeing people like Joe Walker do his first long walk to Bushenyi, from Kampala to Bushenyi. So I started following what he was doing. And then another friend of mine who is Zimbabwean, who lives in South Africa, does runs, and he dedicates his runs to women's rights organizations. So having seen these 2, I started to think, maybe I need to take now this personal walking to another level. Maybe I should do something. And so I had a meeting with Joseph Beyanga, and I said, I want to do something. And he said, what do you like to do? Because if you want to use your walk for something, do it for something that you're passionate about. And given, like you said, I was in WIN, just given the way I interact, I am a very social person. I like stories, and so I thought, why not start walking with people? It actually started as Fridays with Jackie. I was only going to give 1 day of my week to walking with others, and then I posted my first picture, then the next Friday posted that picture with a few notes, then the next Friday. So it kept going like that, and the more I posted, the more people signed up for the walk, and then it has become what it is today. But that literally is how it started. You
had social media to help you mobilize,
right? Absolutely.
So everyone was like, I saw Jackie with so and so, I saw Jackie with so and so. So this snowballing, sort of like gathering of momentum for your social media, for your social media following, has it been something that you look back and say, I don't know even why people say social media is bad?
I've had a very, very pleasant experience with social media.
That is rare.
Right?
Very, very rare.
Is it rare? I didn't know that.
For most women, it's not an experience that they want to even speak about in some instances. Yeah. But it's very good to hear that someone is enjoying social media.
And I think partly two things, Irene. One, because I pre-decide, because it's my space, it's my narrative, so I will use it as I want. And so that is why I told you the late adapter part for me is I decide if this is this platform, this is what I will use it for. When I was no longer as politically engaged, for example, on X, I started sharing about books. So I became known as Jackie, the person who reads a lot of books, right?
Yeah.
Now it is Jackie who walks. But it is, I predetermine what I want to use it for. So it's my story. So if you come on my space, you're not going to disrespect me. I, especially on X, quickly learned to no negative energy. If you are bringing your thing, I unfriend you, I block you, because it is my platform that someone has created, but this is my space. And so I guard it very jealously in that sense. But then also, what I've come to learn and reflect on is that because I'm judged on my public, what I do in private also matters.
Yes.
And so I'm very careful. I think social media has been one of those spaces for me that keeps me accountable. Because I'm very out there, there is no way I'm going to be now hooting, shouting at borders, causing I have to watch. I think it has, in a sense, helped me build my integrity. So for me, those two things go together. That I mind what I say because I am intentional about how I use it as my space, but also it has helped create an accountability for me. I walk into spaces and you're the woman who walks, and I'm like, imagine I was shouting at someone now and I didn't know that person, oh Jackie, I follow you, Jackie. So for me, it is now in this season of my life acting as that guardrail. Watch what you say because people are watching.
Okay. Does that also put you on tenterhooks to say, does it allow you to express your emotions? Because we are human. You have to just be you. Does it sometimes feel like, oh, do I still have my life? Is it still me? Yeah. How does that feel like for you?
So Irene, at the end of the day, it requires emotional intelligence. Again, like I've said, I have pre-decided this is a platform and I want it to say something about me. When I want to vent, I have a place called a journal. Or I have a place called a friend X I'll call and I let out my steam.
Okay.
I have decided social media is not the space I go to let out my steam. Because again, I'm creating a certain narrative, a certain picture, because I have certain aims and intents in mind. I am a leader. I am a woman. I am all these things that create a picture called Jackie. And so I got that jealously as a brand. And you know, journalists understand that a brand has to be true to certain core values. Does that mean I'm perfect or won't say things out of character? But no, because I've predetermined, why do I want this? What am I using this? And if I want to vent, is this the space? Okay. If it isn't the space, then I won't use it for that.
All right.
Yeah.
That is very thoughtful. Someone will say it's because for you you're mature.
And that's what I was going to say. You've literally taken the words out. I was going to say, but FYI, I'm a 55-year-old woman. So the way I will perceive things, the experience I have had is absolutely different. And I also understand that, right? So someone younger, maybe someone even older might this is me as me, as we say in Uganda.
So if you were to talk to a younger version of you who is now experiencing social media with a lot of excitement, with a lot of things that are coming up, especially a woman, there are things that women say make them not want to be on social media, or because they've had backlash, they've had all sorts of bad things done to them. Absolutely. So they decide they will not be on social media at all. Yeah. So if you are that younger version of a person, how would you deal with it, and how should women deal with some of these things? Because the space is there. We can't say we're not going to be there.
Absolutely.
It is actually literally unavoidable, especially if you're in leadership. People are no longer looking for you physically. They want to engage with you through your content on social media and all that. So how do these younger women handle this space?
Irene, I think younger women are already participating in the sense of helping us clean the streets. Yeah.
Clean the
The-
streets,
of
meaning?
social media.
Yes.
Meaning that there are organizations that are out to ensure that the internet is a safe space for women. And there are people that are out to ensure that the internet protects women's rights, in the sense that, there was a spate of internet bullying.
Yes.
And many organizations and women's rights activists spoke out against that, because if it is supposed to be an open space for everybody, it should work for everybody. And we know that, of course, any space that is created by humans is never perfect. That we understand.
Because we come from different backgrounds,
Absolutely,
and everyone has their character.
Absolutely. But I like that young women are even thinking about how do we even expand the space, because maybe the women that should be it's not even yet accessible to as many women, as many people as it should be. So how do we both expand, protect, and create a safe space to tell my story, to be myself? And how do we ensure that when the space is violating our rights, we speak up against it, right? Or we protect each other in sisterhood? You're asking what I would tell a young woman. I think I wouldn't do it differently from what I have seen myself do. Understanding that this is a platform, and it is because unless you're forced, my assumption is many people make that choice.
Voluntarily post yourself, your family, and all the other pictures.
So it is to then be careful, because yes, there is a saying that the internet doesn't forget. So if put there things that you don't want forgotten. Let's always remember that one day, somehow, somewhere, if someone wants to find something, they will. And so to really treat it with the honor, the sacredness, the dignity it deserves, because in a way you're sharing who you are, you're sharing your agenda, your aspirations, your hopes, your fears, your joys, your sadnesses. Do it with dignity to yourself. Respect yourself in the first instance, is what I would say.
All right, thank you. As we go to the end, the noise in the background
is sponsored by
is sponsored by someone who decided to do production today. On a day when we wanted it to be quiet. But just to let you know, if you're listening to us, we're here in Kampala. It's a very green environment. It's just like lovely people around us here. We decided to do it from out today because most of the episodes I've been doing them indoors. And I said, why not come out? And by the way, if I could walk, I would have walked with you, and we have this session while walking. But I hope I can walk with you one day. Yes,
absolutely.
So, the word influencer these days, literally the word is supposed to mean you have a certain level of you command a crowd, you command respect, you command something within a group of people and all that. So how do we handle these people who so much want to force it and make sure no matter what happens, my things have to trend, it has to be this way, it has to be that way? If you join the social media space and you have that in mind, how can you authentically still be you?
Now, for that one, you need to invite an influencer and ask them. Again,
because some of us look at you as an influencer.
No way, are you sure? Imagine that. No, so FYI, by the way, even as I brush it away, this year I was absolutely honored to have been requested by Absa Bank to be one of their influencers for their Run for Girls.
Imagine.
But they approached me, I think, primarily because of the Walk Talk Connect. Because then I said, this is the value I bring. I can work with some of your bank officials. I can work with some of the people that have benefited from the funds of previous runs, so that we tell the story of, when we say Absa is running, this is why they're running, and this is how it benefits community. And I was pleasantly surprised to be asked. But at the same time, Walk Talk Connect has also been used by others for different causes. You determine what you want to use your social media. If you want to be an influencer, I think it's totally up to you. Did I start out wanting to be an influencer? No, I was sharing what I was doing, either walking, leading, reading books, traveling is another thing I used to talk about. Just sharing how I am living my life and the interesting things I think that are happening in my life. And maybe if that has generated its own influence, that's another thing. From if I wanted to say, I'm an influencer, that's what I want to do, and this is the path I'll take. I think Irene, at the end of the day, choose your path and be comfortable with your choice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as we come to a close, I think most people will relate with Walk, Talk, Connect.
Yes.
And I saw you were with university students, and they loved, I think, the experience from what I saw you posting and all that. I wonder how you're able to connect with the young through social media. And do they also come to you through through what they read, or you have to reach out to them? Do they relate with your content? Because most of the things that you talk about are really professional. Do young people also love that? Do they come to you and sort of like want to confide in you with certain things? How do these walks happen? Just briefly.
Okay. The walks happen by people reaching out through direct message on any of my social media platforms. Yes. Others reach me by WhatsApp. Others, it's I want to gift my sister, please walk with her. I'm like, what? This is a gift. Anyway, so really it is reaching out. I have also learned, since it is my platform, again, Walk Talk Connect is a platform, is to say who do I want to meet by walking with them. And so sometimes I've also reached out to people to say, do you mind if I walk with you? And even when I walk, I try and be respectful. When I tell the story, I try and be respectful. I will not share things which are not for sharing. I will try and craft the story in a way that makes the person I've walked with shine, because that is at the end of the day, or picks out the lessons that I have learned, because that is really what the platform is about. Amazing thing I've found out, Irene, about walking, that it has opened and enabled me to access people from the young to the old. But for that I credit my parents. I saw my parents engage with everybody, and I think I learned that skill from them. I can talk to a 2-year-old, I can talk to an 89-year-old. One of my very good friends is Rhoda Kalema, a 96-year-old woman. Wow. Right? And everyone, and my parents, I literally watched the way that for them is everybody is human and everybody is interesting. It's just, are you curious enough to ask and to listen? And I've loved that, because then it makes me accessible, versatile, and that's, I think, part of the success of Walk Talk Connect.
Congratulations. I think my takeaway from here is that conversations can thrive if you're intentional about them. And it also, if you really want to put out a narrative, it's upon you to push that narrative. Have you ever felt at a point in time that social media was not your space, and maybe because someone has said things that are mean, someone has said things that you really felt was not necessary? I mean, sometimes you post something and you don't even know where this person is coming from with their comment, and they're just completely off, but pushing their own narrative as well. Have you ever felt that way, and how do you deal with such situations? Because there are many people who are struggling with it, and many women don't know how to go about it. You posted something, you thought it was nice, lovely, and then what comes out is totally different from the person commenting. Any experience to share?
So, two things. One, because it is my space.
Yes.
When you read it, it's like I've invited you into my home. So if you're going to be obnoxious in my home, I will politely ask you to leave. And the politely ask you to leave is I will block you. So I have no qualms blocking and unfriending people, because my space, the way I have curated it, is to be a lovely, open, like a space for beautiful things. I am not about to accept ugly. That is me as me. There are times when maybe it was about twice in the time that I've been on social media where I've pulled down a post, and this is partly either maybe what I've said did not come across the way I intended it, or I And so also out of respect, because this is a community. You're not, yes, while you're there alone in terms of your page and your posts, you're also in community. So again, like I said, it's emotional intelligence. Sometimes in community you concede and recede. Sometimes you stick your ground, sweep your streets, make sure that if you don't want bad energy, it's your page, please take away the bad energy. The way I'm thinking about it now is maybe one day, and I sometimes do think about it, like, what were we doing before all these things came? And sometimes a part of me wishes for that pre-social media space in terms of, can we just connect human to human? Because there are many people who come and say, hey, I saw you on Facebook. I say, no. You saw a picture of me. That's why I saw you on Facebook. That's not where I live. You saw a picture of me. Can we go back to this that we are doing, just human to human connection? Because that's what creates the social network, which we've now leveraged. But for me, at the end of the day, don't lose that human connection, even when you're on social media streets.
Thank you. It has been lovely having I don't want to call you coach. Let me stop calling you coach.
Fellow human.
My fellow human, Jackie Asiimwe, who has really given us her beautiful story of being on social media. It's rare that we hear people tell us they've enjoyed being on social media, and I'm really honored that you shared this with us. But I also know that you don't take your own photo when you're when you're walking. So yes. Finally, as we wrap this up, yes. What does this consistency on social media mean? That you have to have a whole team behind you? The camera person has to keep running after you also? As we wrap up, share with us how this consistency is like for you.
So I think for the first 200 walks or so, I literally... So 3 things used to happen.
Yes.
As we're walking, we wave down random strangers and say, can you please take a photo of us? And Bambi people are gracious. They do, or they tell you, no.
They don't run away with your phone.
So that's what everybody says. And now you people are making me scared of... No, Bambi, no.
That's amazing.
Yeah, no. And of course, we are all social beings. You know how to tell this one
you can't trust.
You can't trust, or maybe not. So, or you ask a security guard, or you ask that's someone who that if anything happens, I can follow up, right? But no, even the random strangers, Bambi, have been gracious, because it's not just here. Like you said, I've walked in streets in other countries, and so it is just learning to read a human and say, this one I can ask, this one no, I'll let them pass, right? That is one. And then along the way, and I can't even explain, it will be like a whole other episode, the gifts, tangible and intangible, that I've received out of Walk Talk Connect. And one of them was a young gentleman who offered his gift of digital storytelling, who is now my executive storyteller, who is sitting with us as we converse. So I walked with him, but we talked about completely different things altogether. I don't remember the exact detail of how I reached out, and he then started to lend me his gift in digital storytelling. So once in a while I ask him to come along. I try not to make it every story. I also try to be strategic about which story I will tell by video and which one I'll tell by photo. Yeah, so it's been... And then the third way, there's one group that I worked with, and they came with their own photographer. I was like, people are serious. What am I doing in my life? So yes, once in a while, again, depending on who it is, I have also invited someone to take pictures. Because again, you're curating, you have an intention, you want to give the best, because you're inviting people to your space. So what kind of space do I want to curate for myself? Clear pictures, nice video, nice photos,
and nice audio. I am so happy that we had this conversation. If you have anything for the last 1 minute to say, or 30 seconds to say, go ahead. Everybody out there, I must say, love the work that you do.
To appreciate you for this conversation.
Thank you.
And to say that let's own it. Isn't that what we teach ourselves as women? Let's take these spaces, either make them our own, protect each other, or if the streets are nasty, create safe streets, social media streets is what I'm talking about, that are safe for women, that are safe for the underprivileged, that are safe for all. I think we can.
And that is Random with me, Irene Abalo. So until next time, I don't know who you want to see on the show, Jackie?
Wow.
Someone suggested you, so I reached out to you.
Oh my goodness.
Who do you want to see on the show? What?
No. Okay. The one I love is to, especially for in the journalism space, because you guys always ask the questions. I love it when we get to ask you the questions. So yes, anyone that is often behind the cameras, unseen, likes to hide behind there, put them in front of this microphone for me.
I think I have the perfect person. She's called Rhoda. Rhoda, I am coming for you. There are people who are very busy behind there, making sure that not even a second passes by without you seeing something going on the screen. So, yeah, I have just that person, Rhoda.
Amen.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye for now.